You are in the Temple of the Rants, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one is for Cotton Candy Flame, who wants me to continue the trend of reviewing every episode of the Terra arc of Teen Titans with the Teen Titans episode Titan Rising. So I watched this one, and it was honestly pretty mediocre. This episode, not a lot really happens in it. It reintroduces Terra. It's pretty clear that she has gone off with Slade after the previous episode to train, and is just back to try to join the Titans by saying like, "Hey everybody, I've got my powers under control now, so I want to join the team." And Raven's like, "I don't know if I trust this bitch. I don't know if she's really a team player. She something strikes me as odd about the way that she's suddenly, able to control her powers supposedly, even though I've been, I have to fucking put so much work into controlling mine." And but by the end, they work together. Raven decides she trusts her pretty suddenly. Honestly, I feel like the misgivings that she had should have been a lot more extreme, considering that when Terra like brushes up against her at one point, she has all these visions of Slade and like clearly knows there's something weird going on that she should be more cautious of. And even admits herself that her trust is not usually this easy to earn, but I guess she was just maybe eager to trust her. Whatever the case may be, the bulk of this episode is just a lot of tensionless action scenes. It's basically Terra shows up, we establish the drama, and then they go to fight these giant mechanical worms that are terrorizing the city. And the thing about Teen Titans, the old cartoon, the more of it I revisit, the more I feel like the show, it really doesn't hold up that well, in my opinion. I think it's very stiff and awkward. There's this sense from the acting that like it almost feels like none of the voice actors were in the same room when they recorded it. There's no real bounce off of each other, no sense of chemistry. It feels like everybody's reading their lines very individually, and the dialogue's all like weirdly spaced out. Like characters like take their time speaking in a stilted kind of way. The animation is often inexpressive, and when it is expressive is usually when it's doing the over-the-top anime-inspired style, but it's not really aesthetically pleasing when it does that style. It's just kind of like, it's wacky for the sake of being wacky without necessarily looking good, and the action looks good, but it's almost overly fluid. There's not really a strong sense of pace to it, a strong sense of, like kineticism in the action. It's animated well. It's even choreographed pretty well. It's just not exciting to watch. So when almost half of everything that happens in this episode is just like long, unbroken action scenes against a giant mechanical worm, which is not an interesting fight. It's not one that has any real feeling of stakes. You don't really care about this antagonist. It's just a big worm. They're fighting it for a long time before we finally get to where we really understand the purpose of the big worms, which is that they all link together, and they're basically a drill, like a laser drill that's trying to sink the Titan's tower, and it's all Slade's plan, which it's pretty obvious if you're paying attention that what's going on. And granted, I have seen this before when I was a kid, so it's not like I don't know what's really going on, but like even just watching it now, I feel like I'd be able to pretty easily figure out that like the reason that this is happening is that Slade is just trying to integrate Terra into the Teen Titans. Like it's all the hints are there. It's what the previous episode was setting us up for. There's no way that you could possibly be blindsided by the fact that Terra is working for Slade and is infiltrating the Titans. It is transparent in the text. So that's why this pretty ridiculous plan, to do something that, based on Terra's powers, she should single-handedly be able to fix. Just lift this big rock back up and I guess glue it back to the other rocks around it. They don't really clarify exactly how they kept the thing in place, but you can imagine, I guess. So yeah, like again, not a lot happens. The main character beat is just this trust issue between Raven and Terra. I guess you could call it character development, but again, I don't really feel it that strongly. It doesn't feel as though her trust in Tara is earned all that well. It kind of seems like something that should have taken more time to build up, or that she should still be more suspicious. Um, and the characters were eager to get her on the team, even in the original episode, to an extent that I found a little bit much. But yeah, it's just a little cheesy for my tastes. And again, watching just a huge amount of stakesless action did nothing for me in this episode. And there was also a lot of jank where like certain, again, the action animation looks great. When characters are just standing and talking, it definitely feels like they passed it along to the third string in-betweeners for that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I would say it wasn't that great of an episode. The highlight of it was just Tara's new shirt. She's wearing this black, like, clingy shirt. It looks like she's not wearing a bra. And whenever you see her tits, they look really good. Her tits look great in that shirt. Unfortunately, Tara's lower body is comprised of toothpicks, so she has nothing going on below the bust, but, she looks pretty good in the black shirt. But it definitely didn't do anything to endear me to her character any more than before. Like, it feels she didn't really have any character beats in this episode. What was there was only what serviced the plot with Raven. So yeah, I don't know. Not a great episode in my opinion. We'll see what happens in the later ones if you continue paying me $15 a month to hear me talk about how I don't think Teen Titans is really all that great, and that I think the nostalgia goggles are powerful with that show, and how I like Teen Titans Go more.